just a heads up, there are audio issues ahead in today's episode. My bad, I didn't get around to actually being able to fix them like I wanted to, so there are a lot of loud pops. Honestly, there really wasn't much that I could do even at my skill set, so just a heads up, y'all. There's audio issues in today's episode. Sorry, Nicole, couldn't get it fixed, but adjust your volume accordingly. Enjoy the show.
Are you a cannabis grower who knows what they're doing? Are you looking for a one-stop shop for all things cannabis lighting? Then check out DutchLightingInnovations.com. On our website, you can learn more about our newest UV technology, which allows us to grow stronger, even better terpene profiles while reducing microbial growth. DutchLightingInnovations.com has all your lighting needs, from HPS to CMH to LED and UV. Lights of the highest quality for growers who know what they're doing. Designed, engineered, and made in Holland. Your one-stop shop for all things cannabis, DutchLightingInnovations.com. You can learn more about our newest UV technology. At DLI, we have decades in experience in both commercial and hobby horticulture. As a result, our engineers have developed a brand new range of horticultural lighting products that combine with the tried and tested manufacturing techniques of the existing commercial lighting products with a modern manufacturing process. As a result, we've created a comprehensive line of horticultural lighting products that are designed to enhance user experience and produce better results. That's DutchLightingInnovations.com.
What up, y'all? Hey, just a heads up, there are audio issues ahead in today's episode. My bad, I didn't get around to actually being able to fix them like I wanted to, so there are a lot of loud pops. Honestly, there really wasn't much that I could do even at my skill set, so just a heads up, y'all. There's audio issues in today's episode. Sorry, Nicole, couldn't get it fixed, but adjust your volume accordingly. Enjoy the show.
Shackles that you keep. I'm a slave to memories, forever haunting me. But I never felt so alive, and no one this time won't be face down in the middle, and no one this time when the sky is falling, it's calling out of your name, and I will be your saving grace.
What's up, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. What up? Rodney's in the house, y'all. Yo, this is a cannabis show all about the cultures behind cannabis. I want to talk about the extremes of emotions and nuances about that. But let's get on to today's guest, y'all. Today's guest is Nicole Freed from Zen Balancing. How are you doing today, Nicole?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Oh, I am great. Better now. Better now. Well, a few technical difficulties, but we got there. So let's get right into it because I have so many things to ask you. Mainly because I find myself in need of balancing, if you will. Zen balancing. So the idea of being Zen, if I can take a stab at it and never really, Buddhism is really what I tied that to. So I'm guessing it's just kind of like balancing your inner self, right?
Absolutely. It's, all about the tides in life. We're flowing in the ocean. We've got the high waves, we've got the low waves, and just finding the balance in between there and working on ourselves and kind of getting out of stuck trauma patterns. We've all been through shit, right? Like, this life is a lesson. It's not easy. It definitely has its pluses and minuses, but the more we stay out of victimhood and kind of stay true to our light and our own inner power and finding ways to manage ourselves and manage our health, our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. It's all, you can't just work out but never do anything for your brain or your feelings. Right. Your spiritual practices and expect to be good. So just finding ways, to do all that. I've, been an energy healer, body worker, metaphysician. I've been working in the healing arts for over 2 decades now. I'm a psychic medium, so I really read between the lines and, I have a capacity to kind of manipulate energy in a way. Only for the greatest good, of course.
I was going to say, hopefully positively, right?
Yes, I'm a white magic witch. But yeah, just kind of helping people find their breath, find their connection to self, and, find ways, and, using plant medicines and fungus medicines and, whatever that takes for more natural, holistic healing to just kind of be the best you and live your best life and joy and peace and, confronting those darker times, but at the same time moving past them and transmuting the energy so can keep on keeping on.
And that's what it's about, forward motion. We move, time itself was created with forward motion in mind. Time is a man-made concept. You can't tell a tiger, hey, at 7:00 you have a press. They don't give a shit. It doesn't exist to them. They're like, what is that? You know what I mean? And so forward motion in time, if you will, is I think one of the most self-fulfilling prophecies, honestly. We have very limited time on this earth is what I mean. And use it for doing good instead of being a dick. That's kind of like my idea.
Absolutely. And I think, societally, we're really breaking through a lot of those constructs of time, of rules, of, things have to be a certain way. And
constructs, yep.
It's all bullshit, right? Like, our life is what we make of it, and we can create a new life any moment, each and every day. We can wake up a new day and start fresh and be different than we were the day before. And we don't have to do things the way our parents did or the way our grandparents did. I mean, obviously honoring the things that, they've been through and whatnot, but at the same time, we each have our own path and, everyone's just trying their best. No one's perfect.
Listen, that needs to be a fucking shirt, okay? First and foremost. I'm biggest, brightest letters. It's... What'd they say? Before you can... I forget... it was a proverb. It's like the death of the ego will be the beginning of your real life.
And
that's it.
And I will say to that, because there is so much talk, especially, in, the new age world, about ego and ego death and all of that. And to an extent, I mean, our ego is always a part of us, right? Like, there's never like a true 100% egoic death, because
right.
we would be dead. I mean, our egos are what makes us who we are. It's what makes us choose to dress a certain way, or like a certain type of food, or be interested in certain types of music, that kind of a thing. But again, letting that, like, I have to be good enough, I have to, you know, be worried about the judgments of others, you know, I was told to do it this way, so I have to do it that way. No, it's about connecting to your soul and what you truly want and believe in and what makes your heart feel good. If it doesn't feel good, it's not worth it.
I dig it, you know, and there's nothing more stoic than just realizing that you know, pain versus pleasure in life. You know, what pains me is typically bad. What pleases me is typically good. It's very simple. I'm paraphrasing on that. Sorry, my psych majors out there, but that is the truth of it. And here's the thing: being a writer, you know, being a film, you know, maker, I guess now, and being a chef or a cook, you're in the pleasure business, man. You know, you're trying to extract an emotion from them regardless, you know. With feverish intent, do we sit by the table waiting, you know, what did you think about it? You know, and hoping that these you know, flavors manipulated in emotion can, you know, make that our patrons muster up the courage to tell them what they actually feel, or did you just haphazardly enjoy it? You know, it's the question. But I think that if we felt good about putting it out or felt better, it's not really fair to have these expectations of other people when, you know, I feel that if, you know, sitting there with said feverish intent next to the table is actually quite, you know, a projection of our insecurities. You know what I'm saying? That you know, and then you get the dicks that are like, oh, that doesn't even matter, and the sociopaths that are successful out there. I jest, but you know, it is. I think that Zen balancing is definitely needed. I think that ghosts are real. I say that, you know, touching on the psychic medium that you mentioned earlier. I think that people are more in tuned than they think to that said reality, and I think that they've been desensitized because it is so powerful. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And it's hard for people, you know, again, back to, you know, those constructs of, you know, what we were shown or taught, breaking past those and realizing that the non-physical world is absolutely as real as the physical world. And the moment that we acknowledge that and connect the two, like, that's when, you know, the law of attraction stuff comes in, and the power of manifestation, and, you know, our thoughts are more powerful than, you know, what we give them credit for. You keep spinning a story in your head that's, you know, negative or pessimistic, it's going to play out in your everyday. But if you sit there and say, no, you know, I'm confident, I can do this, I know I'm going to use my creative potentials. You know, it's allowing ourselves, like when you know, talked about, you know, waiting for somebody with the food, you know, are they going to like it? Are they not? I think it's a lot about too being open to, you know, being vulnerable. And it's okay if somebody doesn't like your food or doesn't like your message or doesn't like the words that you shared, or, you know, you're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea, but as long as you're being true to your authenticity and doing things that bring you joy. And I think that, like, with the cooking, like, I'm a firm believer that we all just need to create more, right? Like, it doesn't, like, whether it's words, whether it's a talk show, whether it's music, whether it's food, whether it's gardening, whether it's artwork, you know, whether it's you know, an app for, you know, technology. Just, we need to be using our imaginations and keep with that forward momentum to change and shift out of this god-awful world that we've been living in, and saying, like, we don't have to do things the same way anymore. And the more you can be self-sustainable and, you know, take care of things yourself is, you know, a blessing. It gives you confidence, it makes you feel more secure and stable. And, you know, we all need each other. You know, I'm not going to say, like, oh, it's all about doing everything yourself. I mean, we all have our own personal inner work to do, but at the same time, like, we're all here for each other too. Like, community is a big part of all of that, and being there for one another and helping out and supporting.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I actually found a quote as of late on a meme somewhere that really struck to me, and I looked into it, and it was interesting because they say tradition, the idea of tradition is just peer pressure from dead people. That's fuck, man. And a 7-year-old kid said that. I was like, all right, well, that's the Dalai Lama now. But I digress. I think that, I think what you're doing is great. I think that, I'm excited is to kind of segue intro, into the next segments. I think that we're going to have a hell of a show in store of us. So if you're ready, we can get down to it.
We can get down to it.
All right, let's do it. Segment number 1, y'all.
Get ready for What's in Your Bowl?
Welcome back to the first segment of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. These new little installed things, finding out who's who, what they do, what they smoke, and why. The first segment here, What's in Your Bowl? Nicole, this one's all about what you enjoy smoking, how you enjoy using cannabis, and how it works into your day. So I ask you, Nicole, what's in your bowl?
So I've been using cannabis for decades now. I'm definitely at a point. I do not smoke like I used to. It doesn't. It's not the same medicine for me anymore. When I do smoke, I smoke a joint or a bowl. I've been smoking more of a sativa CBN strain these days. And I make my own medicated honey, so I just kind of microdose that as needed, or if it's a heavy pain day, high dose that. I hurt my neck the other day, so definitely a higher dose.
Listen, I believe in microdoses for everything. I've just recently, as of the last year of my life, roughly, give or take a month maybe, I've been microdosing psilocybin mushrooms in addition to cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi, and just really getting the mycelium in me, I've talked to a lot of professionals, some of which, we know, together and know about, it's all in the same industry here in Michigan. People think it's a big state. It's not. It's a rather small community.
Right.
But if you look at what we're doing cannabis wise and the fucking records that people are setting, and it's made Michigan number 2 cannabis wise in the state of Michigan for a small community that we are, that's badass.
Oh, for sure.
So just a real quick shout out to the murder state, if you will.
Yeah, huge advocate for what it does for people and getting them off pharmaceuticals, and same with the psilocybin. I microdose as well. It's been an amazing alternative for me. We just gotta, I'm a big believer in, following your intuition for your medicine. And our medicine is so many things. It's, different actual, botanicals and plants that we consume or smoke, or fungi and whatnot. It's, the food we're eating, it's the water we drink, it's, our movement, it's breath, it's exercise, it's meditation, it's all the things.
Your answer, as philosophically put, it should make me want to change it to what's in your universe. Screw the bowl, man. That's the truth. That was a damn good answer. I appreciate you. I should have expected as much, honestly, to tell you the truth. But I mean, because that's Zen, and you should have just been like, oh, that's Zen in there. I mean, because to tell you the truth, I jest a little bit, but that's, for so long we were, looking outside things like pharmaceuticals and even cannabis, mind altering things to fix the problems that we had inside. Now, would you agree that part of your Zen, part of what's in your bowl, part of what's in your universe could kind of parallels mental health?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's
that's what I thought too.
I mean, that's why I've been healing myself from, mental health issues my entire life. And, that's where I've come to on my journey, is pharmaceuticals are just, they serve their purpose. I'm not going to, everybody needs to do what they need to do for them and what they feel called to. But in my experience, it served its purpose for a time, but it was not who I was, and it didn't, while it improved some things and maybe my mental health, it did a lot of things to disrupt my physical health. So, you gotta
finding that balance. Yeah.
It's like, no. And the more, and I feel, coming out of the, and it's been, I think it's been since 2015 that or 2014 that I've even had a Tylenol. But I feel better than I ever have in my entire life, and I'm older, so
Dude,
it
I dig
works.
it. Like I feel like I feel like you're kind of, you know, again, feverish intent and waiting for that last question we discussed in the green room, because it ties into this so well. It really does. You know, I find myself getting excited to grow older, yet waiting, you know, for the curtain to drop at any moment. Okay. In which case, you know, once it does, that's what we expect. That's what we want. But when it happens, what do you do afterwards? You know, is there a life beyond said trauma or said, you know, issue, or can I actually balance these things? And there's so many things going on. And I feel that in that chaotic notion, just fucking smoke weed. It ain't gonna hurt you. It'll probably help you, you know, if anything. So,
Absolutely.
but that brings us, it ties us actually into the second segment of our show.
Get ready for
Now, this isn't what you think. I love the suggestive title, but TNA is actually our rapid fire questions in the form of totally or absolutely not. So, Nicole, I ask you, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I am.
I don't know why I said I ask you. It was very direct and it was terrible, but all right, here we go. Totally or absolutely not, Nicole, do you like to smoke while, you know, meditating?
Yes. Before
Okay.
meditating. Yes. Totally.
All right, sweet. Totally or absolutely not, do you find edibles to be enjoyable?
Totally.
Okay. Totally or absolutely not, do you think that there's an afterlife?
Absolutely. Totally.
I was
And-
thinking about the afterlife. I just kind of went off into the afterlife for a second. Sorry. You were saying?
I was gonna say, you know, sometimes I think with like religious ideologies, you know, people have this heaven or hell concept, and it's the physical world, it's the non-physical world, and when people cross over, they move to different spaces depending on things. And
Okay. No, I dig that. That's, you know, whatever your virtues are during life, just don't be a dick. You know, people are going to go where they're going to go. That's the truth. It's all energy. Totally or absolutely not, would you consider philosophy to play a major role in what you do?
totally.
That's what I was thinking. And last but not least, totally or absolutely not, Nicole, does weed help you in what you do?
I'm gonna have to say absolutely not.
Please explain.
I mean, weed helps me, but weed doesn't help me do what I do. I just
Okay.
do it. So, I don't. I've actually it is an interesting question because I've gone back and forth over the years on, does this help me? Does this hindrance me when it comes to doing my work? And it doesn't seem to really, you know, matter either or. I mean, I can have a session with a client and, you know, I've smoked a joint right before and it's just as good as, you know, in the same as a session that, you know, I haven't smoked in 3 days.
Okay. So, I mean, it's all about balance.
Balance.
You know, too much of a good thing is bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it. I like that, man. I like that. See, you survived the TNA. It wasn't even that bad. Which sounds, again, terrible, and we're going to continue saying it, but hey, we ain't hurting nobody. But that actually, you know, takes us about midway of our little session here. The next segment is all about, you know, it happens after you smoke.
Get ready for. Yo, I got the munchies.
What's up? Welcome back to the third segment of our show called Got the Munchies. This question is all about the thing that happens to us after we smoke, but with a little bit of a twist. I want to know, when you've got the munchies, what was a snack from your childhood that's discontinued or not that you actually enjoyed, whether you were smoking or just, you know, in general leisure?
I'd say if I have to go back to childhood, I would have to say the Slowpoke. And I don't think that they make them anymore. But they were so tasty, and my parents used to give them to us on car rides, so we would shut up and me and my brothers wouldn't fight with each other. Um, and then in terms of smoking, while I don't, I'm pretty, organic, natural with my foods these days and candies and treats. But as a teenager in my early 20s, I definitely loved some Sour Patch Kids or some sweethearts. When I had the munchies.
No, I want some Sour Patch Kids. Okay, so as we're talking about this,
Trader Joe's.
right? So Sour Patch Kids has a cereal or had a cereal.
Really?
I haven't had it, but that does that okay? So liking Sour Patch Kids, I love Sour Patch Kids. So we got that. So would you go as far as to possibly potentially try the cereal? I wouldn't. It would ruin it.
Yeah, no.
You're going from gummy to like no. I wouldn't mean to do that, but it is a thing. However, there are some ice creams now that I actually quite enjoy the idea of. Little Debbie is partnered with an ice cream company. I forget who it is, and they've taken like zebra cakes and oatmeal cream pies and stuff and stuffed them into vanilla ice cream and shit.
That's cool. Yeah, Little Debbie.
I can see how that would work.
I'm always got those for us.
Oh, she's always been there. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it.
Flavors. They've gotten pretty creative continuously over the years.
I've got the munchies now. That's why I don't like this question, because I always ask it and we start talking about food, and then I could, we've met. I could talk about food literally ad nauseum all day. So it's kind of something, but it's interesting because food is part of the culture that brings us around. Food again is balancing. It's all about balancing the right flavors. You can always tell when there's too much salt in a person's diet, or too much salt in a person's, sardonic nature, if you will, or too much salt in a person's soup. We can tell these things because we are in tune with this. It's part of our thing. It's what brings us all to the table.
Absolutely. And food is it is a beautiful way for people to connect and, share their energy and, the love that they put into making something. And yeah, I love cooking for people.
I like it, again, the feverish intent at the edge of the table. I like cooking for people because I like the reaction. I like nurturing. I like pleasing them. It's what my mom did, man. It's what my entire family did, whether they want to admit it or not, and it's kind of made me who I am today, right?
Absolutely.
But speaking of what made us who we are today, this next segment, it's a good one. We've saved the most philosophical for last. Here it is.
Get ready for Lie to Me.
Like I was saying before, welcome to the last segment of the show on the Daily Chronicles here called Lie to Me, y'all. Lie to me. Oh, it's all about that philosophical question of standing 180 degrees, turning around in your life right now, Nicole, looking back as far as you need to. Whatever caveats, whatever culture, whatever you were doing, as far back as you need to. What is one lie that you've told, gotten away with, knew you shouldn't have, but it happened anyway? I'm familiar with that sigh in this question all too well.
I would, I'm going to have to go pretty philosophical with this.
Let's go.
And say that would have to be the lies that I've told myself, over who I needed to be, over, judgments from others that they actually matter, over that I need to take a pill to be normal. I had a doctor tell me that I would have to take pills for the rest of my life, and and I believed that for a really long time, until the day that I finally, and we'll go back to dead people. It was actually my grandma. After she died, she made the pills go away. And that helped me. Again, it served its purpose for the time, and helping me, I am a mom, without all the tools that I have now and have learned since then, things maybe would have been a little bit, different being a motherhood and, being a mom without having that stability for my brain. But at the same time, it didn't serve me. And I'm really like proud and happy of who I am now. And I'm proud of, the mom I am and, the way I've been raising my son. And I think that's another, lie we tell ourselves too is, I have to be this kind of parent. No, you have to move and flow with grace and trust that they're on, their journey too. And as much as they may be a mini you, they're not you. And, they have to find their path as well. And just trusting that you always do the best that you can. There are times that I look back and think, wow, did I fuck up in some ways? But then I also look back and think, but you know what? I did the best I could with what I had. And, it's all part of, his learning and growing and healing too. So,
I've always felt that a failure, the word fail, is it acronymically means a first attempt in learning.
Absolutely. You just got to keep getting up and trying again. And, life isn't easy. And, we get in depression cycles and we get in anxiety cycles. And it's about, honoring what that lesson is trying to teach us, but just not getting stuck there for too long. And even for people who, are suffering with, bouts of depression and anxiety right now, giving yourself credit for just that one little thing that you did different one day. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I actually, decided to drink some water instead of just like laying in bed and being sad. And oh, that water hydrated me and made me feel better. Oh, I went for a walk today, and instead of not moving my body, I, smiled at the mirror instead of...
That's the things we don't tell people, right? I stand in front of the mirror, half naked sometimes with a towel around my waist going, you're awesome, finger gun salute. Then I realized that I just finger gun saluted myself half naked, and that's where my life is.
Right. And I think, mirror work and positive affirmations, I mean, they're life changing. And it's
so Bloody Mary real. Okay. All right. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
Absolutely. It's a
not
beautiful
doing
thing
that.
to look in the mirror and say, I love you. You're amazing.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to, again, the late great Tony Bourdain. He said that, I looked in the mirror and saw someone worth saving. I don't know if there's tons of other iconic lines that he said and things that he did, but that one really resonated with me. And when we find that person in the mirror worth shaving, if you will, in my case, right? I think that it's a smart thing to do that, to follow that intuition. Intuition is this thing that we've desensitized with social media and fake food and, terrible corporate greedy weed, and shit like that, to the point to where, we turn on these things, and then we aim at them with a revenge in mind. This person's doing better than me, so I'm gonna hate on them, or this person is saying love and light, but they or he is doing something manipulative. So you have to really look at things about perspective, and I think that finding your Zen balance and only chase the bittersweet flavor when you're trying to eat something instead of the murderous intent of revenge.
Absolutely. And we're all the light in the dark. Like we're all, the
balance.
narcissist and the empath. We're, it's again, the balance. And, it's about using those darker energies and transmuting them and giving us the power to keep going and moving forward in a direction that we want to. We only get, like you said, this, who knows how long we have on this planet. It's not really long at all, regardless of how long we live. And we just have to make the most of it. And I'd rather live in joy and say, hey, that didn't work out so well, but at least I tried, and what's next, than, oh, life sucks. I just, want to be in a hole forever.
Well, let's not do that. Do whatever you got to do to be a good person for not only your fellow human beings, but for yourself, first and foremost. It doesn't matter who you put first in that. If you're good for yourself to be good to others, that'll work. That's acceptable. Or just be good to others so you can be good to yourself. The end result is the same.
Yeah.
So it really is simple as 2 + 2 = 4. If you got to give it, some numerical value. But Nicole, thank you very much, y'all. Nicole Fried, Zen Balancing. Let's look at that one more time. Scrolling down below on Instagram, it's Zen Balancing. If I love everything that you do. I think it's amazing. I think that balance is an important thing to understand. And I think that, especially in today's climate in Michigan politically, whether green, red, blue, it doesn't matter where you're looking at. I think that we could all benefit from being fucking nicer to each other, However, I think that only is going to happen when we communicate. And I think that, you being able to communicate as a medium across all fronts and helping people balance who they are is direly crucial to what we do. So again, I want to thank you for coming on the show and thank you for you doing what you do.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, my tokers, my jokers, my smokers. We've reached the end of another edition of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. Again, I want to thank Nicole Fried for coming on the show today. Zen Balancing on Instagram, y'all. Go check it out. Until next time, y'all. Rodney, catch you on the flip.